Hello everyone and welcome to Chess with Eminem. Today I brought to you so beautiful game happened in 2010 in the World Championship tournament between Viswanathan ANAND and Veselin TOPALOV. Now this game happened in the round 4 of the World Championship tournament, and Viswanathan ANAND was the world champion and Topalov was the challenger. So let's see what happened in this exciting game. Anand with the white pieces and Topalov with the black pieces. Anand started the game by d4, queen's pawn opening, knight to f6 by Topalov, c4, e6, knight to f3, and now d5 by Topalov. And okay, g3 by Anand. G3, the Catalan variation by Anand, and here there is two main lines for the black. The first playing c6, supporting the d5 pawn, and the other line is playing d capture on c4. And Topalov in this position played d capture on c4. Now the idea by d capture on c4 is, now by g3 you want to play bishop to g2 and develop this bishop on the h1 a8 diagonal, alright? So by d capture on c4, now playing e3 and then grabbing the pawn by the bishop on the c4 doesn't make sense, because you play g3, you want to play bishop to g2. How you playing e3 and grabbing that pawn by the bishop? And if you played it, then this light squares on the king side will be too weak. So for this season here, after d capture on c4, simply here Anand played bishop to g2, because the idea always by d4 and c4 is offering the c pawn for the black by the d pawn to pushing e5 and having a nice control of the center's squares. So bishop to g2 by Anand, bishop to b4 checked by Topalov, bishop to d2 covering the diagonal, and now a5 by Topalov. a5 saying to Anand, if you want to capture on the b4, then I will capture by the pawn, opening the semi-open file for my rook on the h8, on the a8, sorry, and also having a nice control of the third rank squares, and you will get problems about developing this knight on the b2, on the b1, sorry. So for this season here, after a5 by Topalov here, simply Anand played queen to c2, and he said, I'm not interested to capturing on the b4. And okay, bishop capture on d2, queen capture on d2. Here, of course, you can capture by the knight, attacking the pawn on the c4 twice, but simply here the black here can play b5, guarding the pawn. And after a4, he simply can play c6. If you capture, then I will capture by the pawn. There is nothing to worry about. This pawn on the c4 get protected enough. Also, something like knight to e5, or attacking the rook on the a8. It's not dangerously moved, because simply here I can play rook to a7 or rook to a6, or even I can play knight to d5 covering this diagonal. So for this season here, where here, after bishop capture on d2, here Anand played the best move in this position, and this queen to d2. All right, queen capture on d2, and now c6 by Anand, c6 by Topalov, sorry, c6. I want to push b5 to protecting my pawn on the c4. So a4 by Anand, trying to preventing b5 push, but here simply Topalov pushed b5. If you capture, then I will capture by the pawn, and there is nothing to worry about. Knight to a3, attacking the b5 pawn twice. Bishop to d7, guarding the b5 square, and now knight to e5. Knight to e5. And now if I capture, you will not be able to capture, because your rook on the a8 will be under attack. So for this season here, after knight to e5, knight to d5 by Anand, by Topalov, covering this diagonal. And also if you capture on the d7, then simply I will capture by the queen. Queen capture on d7, and the b5 square will get protected again by by the blackest pieces. So for this season here, after knight to d5, here Anand pushed e4. e4, asking Topalov to move his knight away. Knight to b4 by Topalov. Now the threat is playing f6. When this knight on the e5 moves away, then knight to d3 will be knight to d3 check will be a strong move, because this king on the e4 will be not able to castles anymore. So after knight to b4 here, Anand immediately castled on the king side. Castles by Topalov, and now rook f to d1, putting a lot of pressure on the d file, and also preparing to pushing d5, opening this file for the monsters on the d file, and also opening the diagonal for the monster on the g2 square. So bishop back to e8 by Topalov, trying to preventing d4, d5 push, but here simply Anand pushed d5. d5, there is 4 controller of the d5 squares, while the black has 4 defenders of that square, and the black will not be able to stop this push. So, for the season here, after d5, queen to d6 now by Topalov, threatening the knight on the e5, knight back to g4 by Anand, and now queen to c5, moving away from this dangerous file. Knight to e3 by Anand, and now knight 8 to a6 by Topalov. The idea is playing knight to d3 and then knight to b4 and bringing the other knight to the b4 and having a nice and so strong knights on the d3 and the b4 squares. So after knight a8 to a6, d capture on c6 by Anand, b capture on a4, knight a capture on c4, and now bishop capture on c6. Rook a to c1, rook a to c1, developing this rook on the black queen's file, but here Topalov simply pushed h6, and he said there is no dangerously discover for my queen on the c5. But Anand has another idea. Here Anand played knight to d6, attacking this queen on the c5, queen to back to a7, and now knight to g4 by Anand. And okay, rook a to d8 by Topalov, and here in this position Anand said to Topalov, my dear Topalov, now you deserve to play with me you deserve to play with me on the World Championship tournament, but unfortunately there is an end to everything, and this game's end is starting now by knight capture on h6. Knight capture on h6, so strong move by Anand. When you capture by the pawn, I will capture by the queen, preparing to so strong attack on this king on the g8. Also here Topalov captured the knight, g capture on h6. Here if you try to play something like king to h8 will be a big blunder, because knight capture on f7 will be a strong move. After rook capture, knight capture, queen capture, rook capture on d8 will be a deadly move, and this position is winning for the white. Also here king to h7 doesn't work again, because knight to g4. The idea here playing queen to g5 and then queen to h5, attacking this king on the h7, and it's too hard to prevent all these threats. So for the season here, after after knight capture on h6, g capture on h6 by Topalov, the best move for the black, queen capture on h6, and now f6 by Topalov. f6 opening the way for this queen to help this king on the g8, and okay, e5 by Anand. e5, I want to capture on the f6, e capture on f6. If this if this queen on the a7 moves away from this rank, from the 7th rank, then queen to g2 will be deadly. So for the season here, after e5, Topalov said, okay, let's exchange all the pieces, because we are up a piece, technically. But Anand said, I'm not interested about material. I gave you this knight on the my knight on the h6, and now I will give you this bishop on the g2. Bishop capture on g2, and Anand here said, okay, capture what you want to capture. E capture on f6. I want your king. I don't want material. I want your king's head. So for this season here, after e capture on f6, rook capture on d6 by Anand, rook capture on d6, by Topalov, rook capture on d6 by Anand, and now bishop to e4. Bishop to e4, moving this bishop away from the threat. Also this bishop controlling the g6 and also the h7 squares. Rook capture on e6 by Anand, attacking this bishop on the e4. Knight to d3, if you capture my bishop, then I will capture your rook. But here simply Anand played rook to c2. Rook to c2. Now I'm attacking your rook on the I'm attacking your rook on the e4. And now queen to h7 by Topalov. Now queen to h7, asking Anand to trade the queens. Now here, of course, trading the queens is a big blunder, because after queen capture h7, bishop capture on h7, okay, you can capture the knight on the a6, but the problem is the black has this strong move, and it is knight to b4. Knight to b4, threatening making 4 between both rooks. After something like rook to c6, here rook c to c6, here Topalov has this move, and it is bishop to d3. Bishop to d3 attacking this rook twice, and after rook to a to b6, knight capture on c6, rook capture on c6, and this position is winning for the black here. Black base simply can play something like rook to b8, attacking the pawn on the b2, and then he will push his passed a pawn, and it will be too hard to stop this pawn on the a file. So for this season here, where here, after queen to h7, queen capture on h7 will be a big blunder, but here Anand solved this problem by so exciting and so excellent move. Pause the video for a couple of seconds and try to find the move which Anand played in this position. If you found the move, congratulations, you are so good player. If you didn't find the move, no problem, you are good player too. The move which Anand played in this position, it is f7. f7 check by Anand. Now here the idea is you cannot capture by the rook, of course, because rook e8 will be a checkmate. After rook after covering by the rook capture on f8 will be a checkmate. So here the only move is capturing by the queen, but even capturing by the queen will not work, because after here the white has rook capture on e4, rook capture on e4, threatening rook to g4 check. After covering by the queen, queen capture on g2 will be a checkmate. So for this season here, Veselin Topalov played queen to f5, attacking this rook and also trying to preventing rook to g4. But here after rook to e7, in this position that Veselin Topalov resigned the game. Now why Topalov resigned the game? Because simply here I'm threatening queen to g8, queen to g7, sorry, checkmate. How you'll prevent this? There is no way to prevent this. Example here, if you try to play something like rook to f7, then rook to c8 will be deadly. Of course here you cannot cover the file by the rook, because queen to g7 will be a checkmate. So the only way here, the best move here, capturing the queen, the rook, queen capture on c8, but here simply the black has this maneuver by queen to g6 check, and after king to h8, queen to h5 check, and after king to g8 again, queen capture on f7 with check, and after king to h8, queen to g7 check will be a checkmate. So for this season here, rook to f7 doesn't work. Also something like queen to f6, queen to f6, trying to controlling the g7 square doesn't work also, because queen to f7, now this queen no longer guarding the h7 square, so simply here queen to h7 will be a checkmate. Also here, if you try to sacrifice your queen by something like queen to f7, then simply here the white has rook capture on f7, and after rook capture on f7, rook to c8 check, and after rook to f8, rook capture on f8 will be a checkmate. So for the season here, after rook to e7, in this position that Veselin Topalov just resigned the game. So yeah, this is the game. Hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget us by the like and subscribe. Also, you can check out my previous videos. Also, you can support us on Patreon, the link below the video, and see you in the next videos.